Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn and today I am going to make a Valentine's Day card. So I have picked out quite a few things that are from the CottageCutz. Not all of them are strictly Valentine's related, but most are. I think these two Slimline sets are really general purpose, and as you can even see with this one, there's a set of engagement rings, a little baby carriage, and so you could use this for a variety of occasions, not just Valentine's Day. So anything where you kind of want to send some hugs and kisses, and I think just the frame itself is really lovely. I picked that one up and this one up, and this one's very, very general purpose. It does come with this heart die, which is lovely scalloped edge and has some of that sort of, that kind of eyelet dot design on the inside border. But what's really neat about this one is that it cuts 3 peekaboo flaps. So each of these has a little kind of like a little thumb notch that lets you lift up the flap a little bit more easily, and it's only cut on 3 sides, and then it's scored along that top edge. So that's the one that we'll be using today. And besides the heart, there's also a cloud shape and then a scallop circle. So nice general set there. And then I've got some really, really fun different Valentine's Day sets. So this one is Valentine Cottage, which I love. I love the shape of the cottage, and in general, I just really love having as many of the cottage sets, especially the themed ones, as possible, because you can then take any house style cottage, because they're all more or less, built to about the same scale. So a lot of the elements will be interchangeable. So for example, if you want to take the little bit of fencing that's here but put it with a different style of cottage, you can definitely do that. I ended up not using this set for this specific card because I'm making a slimline card, but that one I think will be a fun one to craft with, and it will definitely show up on a later card next year, I'm sure. So this one is Valentine Phrases and More, so a lot of different, very scripty. I love the font, and then you have some different graphics. So you've got your hugs and kisses, hearts, and present. I love this one, so we're gonna use this one today for sure. So this one's Love My Dog, Love My Cat, and I'm making this card with a friend of mine who has dogs, she's got cats, she's got all sorts of fur babies, and she also loves her coffee. And so I've got this Cup of Love coffee set, which I've crafted with I think I might have 2 of these, in fact, because now that I just picked it up and now that I'm looking at it, it looks super, super familiar. But lots of different styles of coffee cups that you can sort of customize yourself. So we've got 2 different types of handles. You can make this a teacup with a little tea bag. You can add a little bit of whipped cream, and maybe this becomes hot chocolate with some whipped cream. So lots of different ways you can dress that one up. This is super cute too, love letters. So it has a branch with a little birdie, and then a mailbox as well. And don't be fooled by the packaging. It looks small on the packaging, but look how big the mailbox is. So really, really lovely. I don't think I'll be using that. I didn't prep it for this. And then these 2 I love as just great general purpose sentiments. So I love the sentiments that come with the shadow, because sometimes when you're putting a sentiment on a card, depending on the background, it may not read quite as well. So having that backing plate or the shadow layer can help to bring it, add some contrast between the sentiment and the background, making it more legible. I did die cut this one out, but instead, I believe I chose to use the word love from here. I just liked how that fit across the flaps a little bit better. And so I did already cut everything out, and let's go ahead and start making this card. So I've got all my elements here. My card base, I'm starting at 3.5 by 8.5 folded. So this was originally cut 8.5 by 7, and along the 7-inch edge I scored it in half at 3.5, and that gives me a little bit of a white border when I use the die that cuts, the Slimline die that cuts out this really lovely panel with our 3 flaps. So that's already a beautiful start to our card. But when you lift up these flaps, I don't want it to be white on the inside. I actually have some pattern paper that I would prefer on the inside. So what I'm going to do is, I already have some foam on the back here, but what I'll do is center my panel, and I'm going to give myself some pencil marks just along the 4 corners here, because when I cut down my pattern paper, I cut it so that it's just a smidge smaller than the actual frame, so that it's going to fit in here really nicely and you won't see it beyond the frame. You'll just see it on the inside. And you could get away with smaller pieces of pattern paper as well if you wanted to conserve, but I cut a couple of pieces from a 6x6 paper pad, and that's going to just stretch across and give us a nice background, so that when you lift up the flap, we'll have just another splash of color, a little bit more texture there. And before I forget, I'll go ahead and erase these lines, these pencil marks, so that it's easy to actually get at with my big eraser here, rather than wait until this goes down. And I'm going to go ahead and attach this now. So I don't feel like you need to, you could, if you wanted, you could add a little bit of acetate to this if you wanted that look. I don't want to make shakers out of these windows, but you definitely could do that if you wanted. You can make 3 individual shakers, or you can make this into one big shaker window with the bits going all the way across. So that's one of the lovely things about this set, is that there's lots of different interactions that you can have with this. Besides that peekaboo aspect, you can easily kind of use this as a shaker window too. You would just line maybe thicker foam than what I'm using, just depends on what you plan on filling your shaker with, but you would just line this with acetate and then use foam just as I have here, and you can easily make a shaker out of this. So I thought this was a great die set to pick up because it's so versatile in that way. And even though I'm not making a shaker, the reason why I like to use the foam is because it does add a little bit of a shadow, a little bit of dimension for when you do lift and open this. So I thought that would be really fun. That extra bit of dimension, and it may trigger some extra postage just depending on how much more you add to it. But there's that. So now what I'll do is start to start to assemble all of my different elements. So here, this is from the Cup of Love die set. So I did take a bit of the whipped cream, so I'm gonna get a little bit of adhesive just along this bottom edge. And the nice thing about this is on the cup, there's a slit that the die actually cuts into the design, so you can actually tuck your whipped cream in there, and it just makes it look a little bit more nestled into the cup. And there is this die here, which can be a handle, but I thought that would be a really cute decorative element to add to the cup. So I'm not going to use it as a handle. I'm going to actually use it as a decorative element. And it's actually the exact same pattern paper as what's on the inside there, so it's going to bring some of that pattern paper forward. And I did cut a handle, so I'm going to go ahead and add that. And I think I'm going to add a portion of it to the back, and I'm going to tack a portion of it to the front. So you can do that however you like. If you want them both to attach to the front, if you want them both to attach to the back, or you want to opt to do it a little bit one in back, one in front, like I am. So totally up to you. But I love that we have so many options with that. And then there were so many little confetti bits that you could add as well. I won't be adding all of that, but my thought is that behind each of these flaps is going to be a different thing that my friend loves. And so this will be a friend Valentine's Day card. So we'll have dog on one. And I love this set. This has some really cool paw print designs. So I'm going to use the one that there's a solid heart that you can cut out, and then the heart with the paw print cut into it. And so I'm taking this sort of light blue as a accent color. So on all of my pieces on the inside here, there's going to be a little bit of this light blue. And I've got a one panel dog. I'm going to put cat onto the third panel, and then the coffee is going to be in the center. And there's also this style of paw print too, and that's also another 2 die cut where one will cut out the frame and the other will cut out the solid paw print. So I might change that up a little. So we've got dog at the top here, cat at the bottom. And because I didn't glue the frame 100% back the frame with foam, my foam was a little bit thinner. There's some room for me to kind of tuck this under, so that gives me a little bit of extra space and a little bit of extra play. And on the outside, what I'm thinking of doing is putting the word love across all 3 panels, and maybe the middle will just have the heart, just for something a little bit different. Here's where you can see I did cut the word love with its shadow, but I like the size of this more scripty one from the Valentine's Day phrases. So I'm gonna go with that, and I think I will go with the scalloped heart, which was part of the Slimline set, and so I'll use that as the center on the center panel. And when I have really thin die cuts like this, I just squiggle a little bit of adhesive onto my hand, and then you can kind of dab off too if you feel like you got too much anywhere. And I love, look how well this just stretches across the entire flap. So that's one of the reasons why I preferred this one to the smaller one, because it really goes clear across from one edge to the other. And if you do have, some people I think have maybe sensitive skin and you don't want to do that, you could also scribble some glue onto some plastic liner paper and then do the same dabbing but just onto that paper. And I would recommend using a liner paper rather than paper, because with paper the adhesive, the glue is gonna soak into that paper and start to dry faster than if you were to just put some onto like a silicone mat or a plastic liner. So I'm gonna try to get this a little bit, I'm trying to put this a little bit on a tilty angle. Yeah, I think that works. So that'll be the outside of our card. And then I'll start to collage up the inside. So I do have the word my, so love my dog, love my cat. And that did come with the love my dog, love my cat die set. So those are the elements we have to work with. I don't think I need these. So let me go ahead and put my coffee cup down first. So you can see this is a really quick card to put together, and I just used some solid color cardstock and did some partial die cutting. And what that means, if you're not familiar with CottageCutz dies, is take for instance this die. It all comes on a single plate, and so there's lots of different options for how to work with a die like this. One of the things I love is because there's a lot of metal, it's solid metal, this cuts so well because you can get a lot of even pressure going across all of those elements, even the smallest little elements. Take for instance this small little there's a little cat and a little dog that you can use as a bit of embellishment on your sentiment. And this, if it were like a outline die, would be so small. For one, it might be hard to kind of keep track of. So with the CottageCutz dies, they are all on a single plate, so you're not going to lose any individual die cuts or dies. So that's one thing. But second, because they're backed by so much metal and surrounded by so much metal, it cuts beautifully. And then the only thing that makes them a little bit different to work with is if you are only wanting a single element out of that set, then you can do what I do, which is just partial die cutting. So take for instance, if I just want the word dog, then all I would do is I would just cover with a little bit of cardstock where I want to, the part that I want to die cut. And if it's somewhere in the middle, then I just cut down. If I can't, say, hang my cardstock off the edge like this, let's say I wanted something that's more in the center, I would just cut it down smaller and then just cut a piece that's large enough to cover the element that I want, and then die cut just that. The other way that you can work with CottageCutz dies is you can, if you want, die cut the entire plate. And when I do that, usually I'm using white. And if I'm gonna do that, then I just go ahead and back the white cardstock with some double-sided adhesive tape. And then I will color my white cardstock. And that way you can cut out all of your elements in one go and then just color them whatever color you actually want or need for your project. So lots and lots of different ways to work with CottageCutz dies. So that's how I'm collaging that one up. So love my dog, love coffee. I don't think I burnished that really well. And then love my cat. So with the dog, I put, so I want to, since dog was up here, I'm going to put cat on the bottom corner just to have something a little bit different. And that's basically going to be our card pretty much complete. So as you can see, really fun way to put together a friend Valentine's Day card, especially if you have a friend who has a lot of fur babies, and you can put anything you want in the middle here, so all of their favorite things. Maybe you have a crafter friend and you've got some fun craft supplies that you can add to the center flaps. Another fun idea is for the holidays, for example, you could use this same lift flap design, and for maybe somebody who has 3 kids, you can put a photo of each of their kids, and I think that would be really cute. In fact, that would be really cute as a holiday card. If you wanted to make your own holiday cards and send them out, you can kind of swap. If you have 3 kids, maybe it's photos of the kids. If you have 2 kids, maybe it's a family photo, and then photos of your individual kids. I think that would be really cute too. I might do that for the holidays. We're past the Christmas season, so I can't believe I'm already thinking about holiday cards again. But for me, I have to start early or else it may not get done. So here's my final card. So we have love my dog, heart my coffee, and love my cat. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please consider liking, commenting, and sharing. And if you're already subscribed to my channel, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't already subscribed, I hope this video has convinced you. And until next time, happy crafting and have a fantastic day. Bye.